Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and a plane is about to dive bomb my house, and I'm here taking a look at 99Vidas the game. Bit of a weird one, well not really weird, but just a notably unusual case here where 99Vidas is actually a Brazilian gaming podcast, retro gaming podcast I believe. And, well, this is their game. It's an old school beat 'em up in the style of Double Dragon, Final Fight, Streets of Rage, what have you. So, we'll go have a look around. There's not that much to see out here in the menus, so our menu diving will be nice and quick. There's a gallery. That's exactly what it sounds like. It's got sketches and fan art and stuff. The tutorial's there. The Hall of Fame for the survival mode is there. I haven't played it, but I know what it is. Thankfully, the manual was nice and detailed in the credits. Options menu. Pretty decent. It's nice to see the 2 volumes up at max already, but the thing is, some of the sound effects in this game are actually really harsh on the ears. Especially, like, the menu sounds. Like, for me, this is just like drawing your fingernails across a chalkboard. I don't know why. There are a few things like that, and it is kind of annoying. Of course, you can turn on the cutscenes or turn them off. I'd recommend turning them off, if you want me to be honest. The story is pretty much some bad guy stole the big, powerful thing, go get it back, more or less. But I'm gonna leave them on just so you can see what they're like. You've also got friendly fire for when you play this game online in co-op. I don't think it has ad hoc play based on my trawlings around, but that would be, it's still alright. You can play with up to 2 people online, by the way, but when I went online, obviously no one was playing, so there you go. You can come here to change the controls, and notably there's no way to change your controls from the PS Vita system set, but you can rebind them all entirely, which is perfectly fine by me. However, the one thing I would like to unbind is that special move there, its secondary way to activate it, which is punch and jump, because this game doesn't really detect 2 keys being pressed at the same time very well, because I found myself, like, halfway through a punching combo and I've pressed X to get out of it and for some reason has decided to do the special move. It's a little weird like that. And the special move in this game does cost you health to use, but thankfully it doesn't cost you anything if you don't hit someone with it. But if you hit someone with it, obviously it does damage to your life bar. And of course in games like this, it never really does enough damage to make it worth the effort to use anyway. Because by the time you feel the need to use it, you're probably surrounded and already being hit by shit. But anyway, we have local and we have online modes, and online basically just does what local does, so we're going to go into local. I can only pick campaign here. I don't know why I can't pick versus on local. I assume it's because this version of the game doesn't really support it, which is weird. Why have it here in the first place if you can't play it locally? And there's also survival mode, which is literally you just go up against enemies with 5 lives and you see how much score you can get, and there's an online leaderboard. You don't get that until the end of this campaign though, which is annoying because I almost got to the end of this campaign, then I gave up in frustration. You'll see why shortly. So, when you're here, you can continue immediately or you can go to the stage select. We're going to go to the stage select and we're going to just say, no, we don't want to worry about that game. You can go through the stage select at any time. You'll start with 0 score and 5 lives, but you'll have all your upgrades unlocked. They are unlocked across all modes. Obviously, difficulty select mode, I assume Elite is unlocked when you complete the game. We're just going to play on normal. Wait for the game to load. So you can pick between 11 characters, however 6 of them start out locked, which is kind of annoying because I would like to see what some of these other characters are like. Like, you got these 4 characters here, then there's this one big dude back here who's locked from the beginning. And all the different characters, they have different elements, but all these elements do is change the moveset. Now, Izzy here is a Thunder type, and Trish here is also a Thunder type. They have the exact same moveset, and the exact same strengths. And you can press triangle to see their stats, which is how much you've upgraded their 4 main moves. The problem being that it's pretty much the same across all of them. So if you wanted to go and upgrade all your characters, you'd have to play through the game with all of them over and over and over again. And when you've got 2 characters that are basically exactly the same, unlocked in the default set, sure, you've got more along here, but it's, well, just let me put it this way, a bit shit on the variety level there. Of course, they do have different strengths and speeds as well. The ones that are 3 speed are fairly quick, but they do basically nothing. the 2 and 2 are decent in between, and Fries is the character I started out with, but he's really slow, so he's not really recommended for your first time player. So I am going to play a guy I've already partially upgraded, which is Oak here. Apparently, there are 4 of these characters that you have unlocked from the start. These 4 here, I think these are all members of the podcast. But anyway, let's go. And we can pick any stage we've gotten up to, which is, I've literally finished every stage except the last one, so I can show you literally any stage in the game I want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this game a little bit of a chance. These 2 stages down here are bonus stages. They're actually extremely easy to get to. They give you silver trophies for it too, which kind of makes me feel like they had better ideas for these bonus stages, but they just didn't use them. Because they're literally just pickups that you can see plain as day in the middle of the stages that you play before them. And it's weird. I don't know why. They put in absolutely no effort whatsoever. So I'll just wait for the game to load. The loading times aren't particularly great, and especially when it stops like this, it makes you think the game's gone and crashed. But it hasn't. I hope. Yeah, see, there it goes. It even stopped the bloody music. I'm not entirely sure what the deal is there. So yeah, you get these little text boxes here to tell you the story and all that, but they don't really, well, as I said before, it is really just it's a bare bones beat 'em up plot. It's not like it matters, and their grip on the English language isn't particularly good. I must say, the writing is definitely, it's very generic, and I don't want to say tasteless in the sense that it, is a bit over the top or anything. I just say it like, you know, like you're eating some food and it has absolutely no flavor to it whatsoever. It feels like the game writing version of that sort of food. But anyway, this is a brawler, because of course it is. We are playing as Oak, the guy in the middle. I'm looking at my screen and it looks actually really pixelated. It doesn't look that bad on the Vita screen. It doesn't even look close to that bad. But anyway, you have the square and the triangle button, which are your... Yeah, see, I just did my emergency attack by accident there twice. You have a basic 2-button attack scheme, square and triangle that is. And square and triangle will do light or heavy attacks, and you can swap between them halfway through combos to do other combos, but most of them don't really do that much damage more than the other combos. And of course you can upgrade a specific combo to do more damage overall, and you'll probably just end up wanting to use that one like I am with Oak, because I've upgraded his square 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 combo to the absolute limit that it can be. And well, that's pretty much it really. The planes love me today. You do also have a dashing move, so if you double tap the D-pad or the analog stick, you'll start running around, and then you can press the square or the triangle button. Actually, you can't press the triangle button because you have to upgrade your, you have to upgrade it first to level 1 in order to actually get that move. See, there's my other move there. You can also jump in the air and press square or triangle to do a air attack. And the air attacks will do one of the 2 different things depending on whether or not you light or heavy attacked. If you hit the heavy attack button, which I'm doing now, it knocks enemies back, and if you hit the square button, it will stun them. Stunning is infinitely more useful than knockback in this game, because stunning means that you can get down there and beat the crap out of them. Knocking them back means that by the time you'll get over to them, they've gone back up. So unless you really need some crowd control really badly, you probably don't have any use for the triangle button. But yes, anyway. It's also kind of annoying because doing the square jump attack might actually set off your desperation move by mistake, which is really kind of annoying. You can beat the crap out of these boxes and you'll get a bunch of different things. There's the game consoles, and the game consoles are literally just points, and you use points to upgrade your moves at the end of a stage, or to buy extra lives. You can get food, which will heal you up, or if you're already healed up, you'll get bonus points for it. And you'll also get weapons. However, the only couple of weapons I've seen are all basically been the same. They all do slightly more damage than your basic combo when it's not powered up, which means that there's really no point in me picking up any of my ranged weapons. They all have really bad sound effects, and they all only last for a few hits. So there's really no point in using them unless you really need like a long-range damage control sort of weapon. Because a couple of the weapons will have a ridiculous distance, but when you've got something like the broken beer bottle, for example, there's absolutely no point in keeping it. I don't really know why the beer bottle is a thing, because you can literally just do more damage with a basic square combo that's higher than level 1, so that is entirely a thing that exists. Most of the stages are just really boring. I gotta say that now. Like, sure they look decent, but that actually brings me to another point. The game's got some weird lag issues. They don't come up very often, but when they do come up, they hit like a truck. Like, you can see the background sometimes just absolutely fails to scroll along smoothly with you, and it really just takes you out of it. That, and there's just some weird slowdown that'll happen from time to time, but it's not very rare, but it happens oddly inconsistently. So I'm not entirely sure what the problem is. I like this guy's double tap and then punch move because it's basically just a long-range fuck you attack. It's literally longer range than some of the melee weapons you get, so I don't know why the melee weapons are even in this game. Your enemies are pretty standard fare. Oh yeah, you also have grabs and stuff too, but you have to get really close, and by the time you can get close and actually get them for a grab, you can do more damage with punches. That and, well, getting that close to do punching attacks isn't very good for enemies in this game because they are more than likely to attack you back, and most of the attacks in this game have absolutely no warning they're coming, so good luck with that. I just did another emergency attack by mistake there. But yeah, the enemies in this game aren't very good. They are, you'll have like the same few types. Like you've got the frog here, and the frog types of enemies are likely to block, and they're like the only enemies in the game that can do this. You've got this guy here who comes up every now and again, but he's surprisingly easy to beat. You just got to hit him with a stun attack, and then you can just like endlessly chain him. But he seems to be getting the good luck of the draw with the you know, actually swinging with his AI. You do also have a super mega attack. That's what the second level looks like, which is when you've got the full bar. And when you've got half a bar, you can do a less damaging version of the attack. It's not an instant kill, but it does do a lot of damage, which will instant kill a lot of enemies. So that was a stage without a boss fight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, and I'm gonna select a different character just so the game isn't entirely boring. You can actually see some of the different movesets. I will go back. I will play level 2 with Fries. There he is. I have him somewhat upgraded, and I know the stage. I should be okay. I was having trouble with him, but I mean, I've gotten to the end of the game with Oak. I think I can handle stage 2 with this guy. But yeah, most of the enemies are just really simple. They don't really have... My dog's gonna start going off in a second, because apparently everything hates me today. Go get her, Sal. Jesus. And I've been beeped, so I will return shortly. Alright, I'm back. Where was I? Ah, yeah, the enemies. The enemies are very basic. They don't really deviate from the usual AI tropes. Some are likely to grab you, some are likely to charge you, some are likely to wait until you get close and do a big combo and knock you flat on your ass. There's nothing that really stands out in any particular shape or form. Kind of disappointing, really, because they have some nice little designs here. It's just you get sick of seeing them after a while, because after stage 2 here, I'll go on to stage 4 or something like that after this one, but after this particular stage, there's just a problem where they like... What's the word I'm looking for? They just constantly like reskin all of the enemies, and the reskins don't really do that much. They just make them slightly more damaging and aggressive. So, I find myself getting quite bored with having to deal with all these enemies. Here's a weapon, by the way. All of the sound effects on these weapons are terrible. Like, listen to this. No, I'm not joking. And look, it barely does any damage in comparison to, like, a full attack chain. It's silly. But yeah, the enemies are definitely nothing to write home about. I imagine they're all references to something because, you know, this is based off a gaming podcast, although it's a bit weird to make a... It's a bit weird to make a game, but, which is a visual medium, based around something that's done entirely through audio. I guess they might have a video podcast or something, but still, it's just a bit odd. Just a little. Probably should have done some research before I did this video, but this is me we're talking about. I've always been lazy. I don't even finish games before I do them. Before I do videos on them, so... What do you know? I'll do a charging attack here just to demonstrate that he actually has one of these. Also that. The problem with playing this and playing all the characters is that the game is inherently repetitive. It's a beat 'em up. Like, nothing wrong with being repetitive when you're a beat 'em up. It comes with the territory, but the horrendous amount of just general repetitiveness in this game just gets kind of ridiculous after a while, especially when you've got what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, I might as well show you his super move. Not that visually impressive, honestly. See, he's dead. It literally just took one super move. We'll meet again several times, and I don't think he in that form actually shows up again. He shows up in his in a purple recolor, but he himself doesn't actually show up again, weirdly enough. But yes. It's just all the characters feel the same to play. Sure, the speed does make a difference, but just the general moves and attack chains and specials and all that, they're all basically the same thing. Like, they're not exactly the same, but just because, you know, depending on the speed and the strength of the characters, but it really doesn't feel any different playing this guy as it was playing Oak, because all of the moves are basically the same, except maybe your long range dash move and your charging dash move might have been swapped around or whatever. That's the token for the bonus level, by the way. Yes, I am serious. I won't actually go to it. I will quit the game before we go into that bonus level, but yes. And there's another one of those charging bastards. Just, they don't really feel any different. All the strategies and stuff you've learned throughout the game can be used with the same characters in the same way. It doesn't really feel like I have to make a massive change to my playing style to actually make this work. The only real time I can see myself needing to do that is when I'm playing with, well, Fries, since he's one of the slowest characters. And even then, just delaying your attacks just a little bit more, it really does play about the same. And I really do wish the characters were different, because the different elemental things that they had going on made me think, oh, they'll play differently. They will acquiesce to their elemental types, and no, not in the sense that I was hoping for. I didn't mean to pick that pipe up, but apparently the game thought I did. Here's what the first level looks like, by the way. It's not as impressive, still does a ton of damage though, great way of skipping a wave or two. You don't actually get your energy back from killing these dudes, you get them back for surviving the waves, which is kind of annoying. Because it would be nice to be able to work with that, or whatever. Dead. But yeah, it's it just gets really repetitive after a while. And I'll be able to show you a boss in this level hopefully soon, if this guy will get over here. None of the stages, I should say, none of the stages really add anything in the way of, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't really add anything in the way of interactivity. You get a stage where there's cars going by on the bottom half of the stage, and you have to avoid them. You get a stage where a bunch of tigers come running across the screen, and you have to avoid them. Other than that, it doesn't really do much in the way of making the stages any particular interest either. And the final stage is a boss rush, because of course it is. I mean, what else would it be, right? And then there's... Oh, here's a boss, by the way. I assume this is a reference to something. The first thing I thought when I saw this guy was hard gay from Japanese comedy. Which is a very weird thing to think about in the middle of a Brazilian game, but... whatever. Yeah, not the best writing, I gotta say. So the trick with this guy is that you've gotta run around and avoid the barrels, and then you've gotta hit him while his weak spot is exposed. For this particular boss, it's when he starts drinking from the oil barrel. Problem is you have to be close to him to do it, and you don't know when he's gonna start drinking his barrel, so you basically just have to stay close and hope that he actually bothers to do it. This is every boss in the game. I'm not joking. This is seriously every single boss in the game. None of the bosses really change anything mechanically or do anything interesting. Once you've seen the first boss, you've seen them all. And seriously, what the hell is he doing? Screw it, I'll just hit him. If you hit him, it stops him from throwing the barrels, which is a thing. Okay, now I can just beat the crap out of him. Kind of a neat thing that the color goes out of the world. But, yeah, it's still a pretty boring boss. There is one other problem with this game that took me a little while to put my finger on. But it might not even be that big of a... Yeah, see, I missed him, because goddamn, beat-em-ups and vertical planes, never been my particular strong suit. There's another problem with this game, and that is the game's notable, not so much lack of mercy invincibility, but it's just how short of a time you have it. You might have noticed that basically while I was in the middle of getting up, or at least when I was at the very end of getting up, he was able to rock over and just beat the crap out of me. The game's mercy invincibility doesn't last long enough. It lasts until you've gotten up, and then it ends at the very, very moment you've gotten up, and the very moment you can retake control. So guess what happens if you get hit by an attack while you're in the middle of your of this little animation, and just as it ends, the attack will be right on top of you. Imagine what happens. You get hit again. This happens a lot, and it's really unfair when it does. I'm just gonna fire off my special attack and finish this boss fight here. Down he goes. And yeah, I can't go back to the stage select. Hopefully it'll just put me straight back there. But yeah, this problem with it makes it so that it's just really unfair. And it does get bad enough to the point where on the first stage, yes, the first stage, I actually got endlessly comboed. And I got killed. At the time, I didn't know I could pop out the emergency exit attack, whatever it is. But still, for that to happen is horrendous. I'm not that big of a fan of it. Yeah, see, we're put back here. Kind of annoying, actually. Also, he has exactly the same dialogue as the other guy who we brought here first, Oak. Which is very odd, I must say. Not entirely sure what the point is there. Alright, let's go back, pick someone else, and go into the stage with them, shall we? Stage select, please. Probably should have picked Izzy, so I could play like a unupgraded character on a later stage. Actually, you know what? I'll go back and I'll do that. Just to make things a little easier on me, so I can continue talking without too much of a hassle. The game doesn't really get harder. I mean, if you upgrade your basic just press square combo, I'll play as easy. Why not? Easy for easy difficulty.
Do this.
The game doesn't really get harder. If you upgrade your main press square combo all the way, you'll just do tons of damage and it'll be surprisingly... Oh. You know what? Fuck it. Glitch World. Why not? I'm not even sure why I couldn't pick the stage for him, but... Whatever. Glitch World it is. You might as well get to see the 2 bonus stages. I'm actually kind of happy I picked this stage, because there is actually a neat thing you can do in this. But... I'll just have to talk about my overall feelings about this game. Thankfully, the stages aren't that long if you know what you're doing, but when you're fighting a boss and trying to figure out what their weak spot is, it can take a while. But anyway, you get popped in here, you look weird, but the HUD's alright. But if I pause the game just real quick and go into this and invert the colors, I look exactly the same. And so the enemies, because the enemies are all inverted too. But yeah, as you can see, I can move a lot faster, which is a nice thing to be able to do. Let me just uninvert the colors again. And we're back to, well, not normal, but you get the idea. I find it hard to recommend 99Vidas just because it doesn't really do anything particularly interesting as a beat-em-up. The enemies are basic, the upgrades are basic, the characters are all basic, and some of them are even exactly the bloody same, just with a bloody sprite swap. The actual combat isn't entirely satisfying. I mean, it's okay, but it doesn't do much for me. Not really in the grand scheme of things anyway. Also, yeah, as you can see, this guy is exceedingly weak, because of course his strength is only at 1. Which is entirely fair, that's exactly what the game said it would be. It's still just kind of annoying, that's all. That was kind of annoying, that. It doesn't really do anything that interesting, and when the Vita has got plenty of other beat-em-ups like this already that basically outrank this in every form imaginable. Everything from Dragon's Crown to Foul Play is very far ahead of this game, I must say. This game is just like really basic. I mean, considering that this is meant to be a video game based around a gaming podcast, the fact that it turns out to be a it basically just feels like a licensed game. I mean, I don't have any idea who 99Vidas is. Which, to be fair, I think is slightly more useful than knowing who they are for the audience that I talk to, because I talk to a bunch of people who live in some European countries, the United States, Canada, and Australia, so people might not know who these guys are. So, hopefully the game would have given me some sort of sense as to who they were and what their identity is, and all I can really tell is that they like retro games. There's a bunch of references to them in the first stage, and of course, you pick up retro game consoles for more points for your upgrades. And fair enough, but, you know, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more personality, but then again, considering the quality of the English translation, which just it feels like the most generic thing imaginable, it really does just feel like a generic licensed game that would have come out back circa 2000, or not even that. Would have been 3D by that point. I mean, maybe the SNES era then. Somewhere around the SNES. And it's just not that particularly good. It's kind of annoying because I only just recently got around to playing Streets of Rage 2, like in the previous 6 months, so I still have fairly strong memories of that game. And that game is absolutely brilliant as a beat-em-up. This game just doesn't even come close. I really do wish that you could get Streets of Rage on Vita somehow, that would be absolutely brilliant. And I know you can via the various hacks and what have you, but still, I find myself not enjoying this game very much just because I could be playing any other beat 'em up and having a way better time of it. If I want more loot, I could go Dragon's Crown. If I wanted an original idea, I could go for Foul Play, which did that whole stage play thing going on in the background, which made the game a little bit more interesting. Or if I wanted to do this like in 3D or whatever, I could just go play Dynasty Warriors. Dynasty Warriors is better at being a beat 'em up. I mean, Dynasty Warriors is literally just like a game like Final Fight, only in 3D with tons of people in it. And also 3 kingdoms. It just disappoints me. Because I'd like a good beat 'em up. Beat 'em ups aren't bad. It's just this one doesn't really do that much for me in the slightest, so I just find it hard to enjoy. And this is the boss of the thing, by the way. Yes, you do fight this thing more than once. Alright, I better show off his special move there. Which almost completely beat him for me, which is nice. There we go, we're done. I can't recommend it. I really can't. I mean, there are games that are way better than I could recommend over this. If you haven't played Foul Play or Dragon's Crown yet, both of those do beat 'em ups better than this one does. I find it a bit dull, uninteresting, and ultimately generic. Those are a lot of big, serious words, so allow me to say the word knickers. That will hopefully make one of you laugh. Also, it's a joke shamelessly stolen from Yahtzee, but I should end this video before I do any more shameless joke stealing. So, this has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.